morning from Newcastle, Australia. Today, I'm gonna head to Sydney. You can see the train station behind me. That's the easy way. And you know, I never do the easy thing. So I'm here at the bus stop and I'm gonna get regular local buses all the way from here to Sydney Central Station. Come join me, see how it works. That's right, I'm at Newcastle Interchange where I can get a regular train direct to Sydney Central in around 2.5 hours. But I'm going to take probably the longest journey anyone has ever taken between the state's two largest cities. My first bus is the shortest, but probably the most important. This route takes me to Charlestown Square. My next bus is the bus that links Newcastle to the Central Coast, and it only runs twice a day, so I have to get there on time. There are two buses to Charlestown, and I jump on the 10X Express bus. This bus didn't show up when I was planning this, so this was a nice surprise, and it shaved 10 minutes off my time. And with one person singing about the bus journey, and the only other passenger having an argument with the driver, I sit back and enjoy the first 20 minutes of my journey. Well, it turns out it's going to be a little harder to film this video as a first thought, because there's crazy people that take the local bus. Realising I had a little bit of extra time, I made use of the facilities at Charlestown Square, where I realised this is the first of 3 buses that are all connected by shopping centres. My next bus is the most important bus of the trip because there's only one in the morning, and this one is the one that connects Newcastle to Sydney, or actually the Central Coast, so this one goes to Lake Haven. As aboard the bus, you will notice it's branded as Busways, which is a Central Coast bus company, and to my knowledge, the only Central Coast bus that makes it all the way to Newcastle. This journey is our longest, and heads around the eastern side of Lake Macquarie, pulling into all the little side villages along the way, making the journey time here an epic 1 hour 40 minutes. And pretty much as soon as we got outside of Newcastle, I was the only passenger on the bus. And now, the only one on the bus. The bus did have some good views of Lake Macquarie, and travelled to places I wouldn't usually travel to. But as I come to realise, it's mostly just houses, and while some are nice houses, they're all just residential. There are a few parks though, that my bus driver needed to make use of. No, I really am the only person on the bus. The bus driver's gone. He just nipped to the loo, across in the park. I guess that's a good segue into one of the problems we have with this trip taking all local buses. There's no toilet on the bus. And also, I don't know what I'm going to do for lunch. Now my next connection is going to be my tightest, as I only have 2 minutes to my next bus. It's not the end of the world if I miss it, but it will put me 20 minutes behind and make me miss my ferry connection, which will add an hour and a half to my journey. As it turns out, we pull in right as our next bus pulls out, meaning the driver's pit stop earlier cost me an hour and a half. Now this might not end up being such a bad thing, you'll see why later. So I missed my bus by 3 minutes, it drove away as we pulled in. The next bus is in 20 minutes here, and now we're going to have to wait an hour and a half at Adelong for the ferry. It's not the end of the world, as our next bus is only 20 minutes later. This bus heads between Lake Haven Centre and Westfield Tuggerah. The view for this part is also just houses. This is a local bus, so that's probably a good thing. I mean, who uses these buses for long distance travel? This bus was fairly uneventful, except for someone who swore at the driver and refused to pay. I honestly think these bus drivers don't get paid enough. That guy ironically got off at Watanobbi. We finally meet up with the train line again at Wyong, before setting down at Westfield 34 minutes later. I have 15 minutes to my next bus. Gonna head into the shopping centre here and hope that I can find a toilet. Okay, so I'm not even halfway, and I'm starting to struggle a little bit. I'm a little bit tired, I'm a little bit hungry. I just went to the bathroom, and I think I've gone through every single back lane and street all the way from Newcastle to here. After a quick pit stop and an energy bar, my fourth bus is here. This one takes me to Gosford. This bus is the first bus on the route that doesn't stop at a shopping centre, but instead stops on the main street of Gosford, opposite the station. I know most of all of this journey well, as I've lived in Newcastle, the Central Coast and Sydney, but if you aren't local, you will need Google Maps, as there's no way to know where you need to get off. This journey takes 38 minutes. Once off the bus, I need to head across the road to the stand at Gosford Station for my next bus. Well, I'm at Gosford Station, about the halfway mark, 4.5 hours into the journey. I'd be here in an hour and 15 if I took the train, and I'd be at Central in about an hour and 40 minutes. But I've still got about 4 hours left, maybe even more. I'm not really feeling very well. I don't know if it's the shaking of the bus and all the movement, or the fact that I've only had 2 energy bars to eat, but yeah, I probably wouldn't recommend this. I have a 20-minute wait at Gosford, and as hungry as I am, the cafe here is inside the station, and a snack from the vending machine isn't what I need. So I decided to just get on the next bus and grab food in 50 minutes when I get to Edlong. This bus is probably the most scenic along the way, as we travel past all the boats moored up on Brisbane water, until Woy Woy. Speaking of Woy Woy, why we need to stop 3 times in 10 metres I really don't know. We just stopped opposite the station, before heading into the station, before stopping again just as we came out of the station. My dad used to run a shop from here though, so I suppose I can deal with seeing it 3 times in a row. Once through Woy Woy, we head through Yamina to Edlong, which is the end of the Central Coast part of our journey. That's bus number 5 done. I'm hungry, and I'm really happy that it's going to be an hour and a half to the ferry. It's time to get some lunch. I wish it was as easy as that, but unfortunately the pub finished lunch at 2:30, which is exactly now, and it seems like almost everywhere else is on a siesta too. Check out this supposed food court, it's entirely empty. I wonder how this place goes at night. Anyway, in the end I found a place where I got a delicious veggie frittata, and it was right across the road from where the ferry leaves. The cafe just closed, so it was good timing. Time to make my way over to the northern beaches. Palm Beach, this time no bus, but ferry. Now, I used to live here on the coast, and this ferry wasn't around when I was around, so I've always wanted to take it, because it actually takes longer to get to Sydney from here by bus and train than it is to get ferry over, because Summer Bay, where Home and Away is filmed, is just over there, where we're going. The ferry terminal, if you can call it that, consists pretty much of a prison type toilet, but it's super peaceful and quiet here. This is the most expensive part of our trip. Tickets are $14.70, and as you can see, my missed connection earlier cost me an hour and a half, which ended up being a good thing, as you know. Anyway, finally we see our ferry come into view. The whole journey across takes us just 25 minutes, and it's quite scenic, though a little bumpy at times. And in case you're wondering how to buy a ticket, they come around once you're on board. This was definitely the highlight of the trip, which wouldn't be that hard in all honesty. Also, I'm wondering if I'll see Alf Stewart. Which house do you think he lives in? Once off board, we see another huge lineup of commuters, and just miss my next bus, before a couple of tradies drive past and yell out the greatest insult of all time.
That's the second bus today that's left in front of me.
That made me laugh. That was fun. Just 3 buses left to go. The next bus, which is my 6th for the day, only needs to take me up the road a little bit, to the B line bus stop.
I think I got off a stop too early. I looked at GPS, it said the next stop, and I think the bus driver stopped just to change drivers. But it's just a 5-minute walk, so anyway, we'll get there. Also, it's 5 o'clock. I've put in the equivalent of a whole day's work in this journey.
The B line bus is a high-frequency bus route that runs from the northern beaches to Wynyard. There really should be a train here, but there isn't. B line is an express service that is not only a double-decker bus, but also has USB charge ports, and you can actually see where you are and how long you have left on your journey, like how buses should be in 2024. They also have their own dedicated stops. The road from the northern beaches is very slow, especially during peak hour, so this 28km drive is scheduled to take 50 minutes, but it takes us an hour 20. We do get to drive over the Sydney Harbour Bridge though, so we can pretend that makes it worth it.
Well, finally into Sydney, into Wynyard. I've got one more bus to go to Central. I have quite a few choices here. I can't wait for today to be over.
One more bus to go from Wynyard, just 15 minutes up the CBD to Central Station. I'm actually excited to finish this journey. So I guess you're asking, is it worth doing? If you like to do something entirely different and you have a day to kill, sure. But no, it isn't. It isn't worth it. Local buses are made to get you to work or to the shops, so aren't exactly fast or comfortable, or scenic. But you can do it, and I actually feel a sense of accomplishment. I've accomplished a completely useless journey that took 10 hours instead of 3, so I'm proud of myself.
Central Station.
And another big question you might ask is how much the journey cost. All the buses together cost me $12.60, and the ferry was $14.70, so the total cost is $27.30. The train is $6.88, $20.42 cheaper.
Exactly 10 hours since I left this morning. I'm at Central Station. It's 10 to 7. I left at 10 to 9. 8 buses and a ferry.
I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please remember to like and subscribe. It means a lot. Thanks for watching.
This train just arrived from Newcastle.